All right. So this next one, honestly, I feel like the essays, that's where I struggle a lot on if I don't know the black letter law well on a subject, I tend to do not so great. But this one, let's see. We're sticking in the
More
category of
evidence.
evidence. I like to read the call of the question first, so I'm going to do that. 3 questions we're answering. This is taken from February 2008 evidence question. Number 1, did the trial court err in admitting into evidence the hospital record containing Victor's statement? Explain. Okay. Number 2, did the trial court err in sustaining wife's claim of privilege? Okay, got some spousal privileges here.
Yep.
3, did the trial court err in sustaining the prosecutor's hearsay objection to the wife's testimony? Okay. Dealing with hearsay objections, spousal privileges, and admission into evidence of hospital records. All right.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Victor was taken by ambulance to a hospital. Standard hospital practice requires the admitting nurse in the emergency room to record all information provided by a patient about the cause of the plaintiff's illness or injury. Following the practice, the admitting nurse asked Victor, "What happened?" Victor responded, "I was stabbed with a big knife. Dan did it." Oh, dang. Nurse immediately wrote Victor's statement in the appropriate place in the hospital record. 1 week after his hospital admission, Victor unexpectedly died, of course, as a result of the stab wound. Dan was charged with Victor's murder. When Victor's wife heard of Dan's arrest, she was shocked. She told friend, "When Victor and I were alone together in the hospital, he told me who stabbed him, and it wasn't Dan." But wife refused to tell friend, whom Victor had identified as his assailant. During the trial, in order to prove that Dan stabbed Victor, the prosecutor offered the hospital record made by nurse that contained Victor's statement that Dan stabbed him. The prosecutor cannot locate nurse to testify at trial. Defense counsel objected to admission of the hospital record and the statements in it, but the court overruled the objection. During the presentation of Dan's case, defense counsel suggested that Victor had been attacked by stepson, got it, wife's child by a previous marriage. Defense counsel called wife as a witness and questioned her concerning Victor's statement to her about the identity of the assailant. Wife refused to answer on the basis of marital privilege. The prosecutor objected to the questions directed to wife on the grounds that they sought to elicit hearsay. The court sustained both wife's claims of privilege and the prosecutor's hearsay objection. That's a lot.
That is
The
a
question
lot.
again. Did the trial court err in admitting into evidence the hospital record containing Victor's statement? So on that one alone, I was thinking when it got to the during trial, in order to prove that Dan stabbed Victor, the prosecutor offered the hospital record. That I'm saying definitely that's an error. You can offer medical records to show that the person is injured in the context of medical injury, but you cannot say, like, use it for proving the truth of the matter asserted, that the statement is the proof that that Dan stabbed Victor. I did feel like there was some red herrings where it's talking about, like, this is the regular course of business and this is what they usually do, like business records, like this is typically how things go. But because it's being used, the prosecutor's literally offering it to prove that Dan stabbed Victor. That's where I would say that's an error. Would you think that's like on the right track?
Yeah, I think so. I think the other thing that came to my mind was like, what is that exception for when you can use somebody's statement if it's like their dying words?
Oh,
Like,
wait,
I forget
yes.
what
Dying
the name.
declarations.
The dying declaration. I feel like this is kind of a red herring for that too, because he didn't say it as he was dying. He said it like before he died. So I feel like they're trying to kind of catch you with that too. So
That's a good point.
I agree that it shouldn't have been admitted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like
I
that's
think
good enough analysis. I am not looking for us to like really deeply answer these.
Yeah,
It's more like I think we're spotting the issues, spotting the red flags, and I agree.
totally. Yeah.
Number
Okay. Cool.
2, did the trial court err in sustaining wife's claim of perjury? That I have to go back and read the facts a little bit more because I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, well.
same.
During the presentation of Dan's case, defense counsel suggested that Victor had been attacked by the stepson, wife's child by a previous marriage. Defense counsel called wife as a witness and questioned her concerning Victor's statement to her about the identity of his assailant. Wife refused to answer on the basis of the marital privilege. I think that's allowed, right?
I think so. I mean, I know that there are two kind of different ways that spousal privilege applies, but I think this counts because the statement was between them and no one else was there to hear it.
Yeah,
And so I think she's allowed to refuse
right.
to
And
do that. But does it matter if the if she's asserting the privilege to protect the stepson or well, I guess that's my assumption. I don't know.
yeah, that's a good question. That could be maybe
Um,
things that the bar examiners were looking for people to like flesh out in their arguments. But I would agree with you that I think because she is a current wife and it was a conversation had between the two of them. This is
uh-huh.
where I get confused about privileged communications versus the actual privilege of like not needing to testify. But I
Yeah.
do think I'm thinking she has a right because it's a criminal case, and I think she has the right as the, like, witness to assert the right. Like, it's her up to
Yeah.
her to assert it. So,
Yeah.
I would go with, like, yeah, she's allowed to
I
claim.
I totally yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay. And this last one, did the trial court err in sustaining the prosecutor's hearsay objection to the wife's testimony? The prosecutor objected to the questions directed to wife on the grounds that they sought to elicit hearsay. The court sustained the prosecutor's hearsay objection. Oh, I don't know if it's I mean, she has firsthand she puts it personal knowledge about the conversation. So she has the right to talk about the
Mm.
conversation. I don't know if that's necessarily I don't know. I could be way off on that, but I would go with, like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually if the prosecutor hearsay objection was
Yeah, same. I sorry, client is texting me.
Oh, no, you're
Um,
fine, you're fine, you're
no,
fine.
no, no. I'm like, why is he texting me? He doesn't even know how to write. Okay. His kid must have his phone. Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like somewhere in the like back of my memory, there's this exception for hearsay when it's like a murder victim.
Ooh,
Am I
mhm.
pulling that completely out of
No,
nowhere? I don't know.
I am not
Um,
sure, to be honest. I have no idea.
yeah, this is again my weakness.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
honestly,
with
I don't
we don't
know.
know. Yeah, I don't either. That's okay.
This yeah, this would be one of those questions that I just like pull something out and hope it's good enough and I get a couple of points. Like
Yes.
there were
Listen,
definitely
you and me
those
both.
on the A for me. Like I remember things I was hoping to not get tested on included like property evidence and something else. And I don't think I had an evidence MEE, but I definitely had the very first MEE I did was property.
Ugh,
And
I don't
I
like
just
property.
remember no, it was like the first morning, first essay, and I lost it because I was like, oh my God, I do not know how to answer any of these questions. Like, I'm failing the bar right now.
No. And you didn't.
I didn't, but yeah, you just have to like throw a bunch of stuff on there and hope that like you're getting enough points if you just don't know the answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my tactic this time around.
Yeah, like, don't overthink it. I think you just, like, have to go and just, like, start writing, and even if you
Agreed.
say the wrong thing, I think you're still gonna get points for a decent analysis. I kind of remember that was, like, a strategy people had been talking about when I was studying for the bar.
Yeah, no, I think last time I also didn't, what do you call, like, eh, make up rule like, I needed to make up rules. If I didn't know it, I needed to make up
I
rules, and that's something I regret
Yep,
that I didn't do.
I 100% did that. 100% made up rules. Yep, and I know for a fact I got some of them wrong because I don't know, had so much self-doubt, and then I had this hour for lunch in between, the MEE and then whatever the long essays in the afternoon are called. I can't even remember what that section's called, but I was
MPTs, yeah.
sitting yeah, I was sitting in my car, and I was like, it's gonna drive me crazy not knowing because I was sitting in the exam feeling like, I think I know the answer to this, but I don't know what the rule is, and so I looked it up online after the exam was done, and I had gotten it wrong, and,
Oh, it's okay.
like, pro tip, don't do that to yourself, but
Oh, just
anyway.
wait till you get your scores back and then improve it that way.
Exactly.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
I'm not gonna read all these. I'm just going to, like, quickly point through the model answer that they have, like, what
Sounds good.
the analysis piece for the first question, this person put hospital record is hearsay because it's being offered to prove the truth of matter asserted. Like we talked through, Victor was stabbed with a knife. A hospital record is admissible under business record exception to the hearsay rule if it was made in the regular course of business, the regular practice of business to make the record at the time of the event, and made by a person whose duty it was to make the record, and the person has personal knowledge. Record must be authenticated through testimony or written certification of records. Here, the record was made as part of the hospital's normal business pursuant to hospital practice and by admitting nurse who had personal knowledge of what Victor had said during the duty to record all information provided by Victor about the nature and cause of the injury. Thus, as long as the record can be authenticated by a records custodian or other witness from the hospital is properly admissible under the business record
Oh.
exception. The statement within the record, however, constitutes hearsay because they are being offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted and must fall within an exception to the hearsay rule. Here, Victor made two statements to the nurse that he was stabbed and that Dan was the person that stabbed him. The first statement that Victor made that says, I was stabbed with a big knife, is a declaration of a past bodily condition. Declarations of past bodily conditions are admissible if made to assist in diagnosing and treating condition. It is clear that the statement constitutes a declaration of past bodily condition because Victor made this statement to the nurse and would be relevant to his diagnosis and course of treatment. The second statement Victor made, stating Dan did it, is not admissible. The exception to the hearsay rule allowing the declaration of past bodily condition includes any statement of the cause of source of the condition if it is reasonably pertinent to the diagnosis. Okay, so that's where the hospital record would get in under the business record exception, but the statements made in the hospital record, half of it could get in because it's about diagnosis and treatment. But the part about Dan did it, that doesn't come in. Got it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go with we're
that
half right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I had kind of forgotten that evidence could be that way where the evidence itself could get in, but then the rules would like limit certain parts of
Right. Yeah.
the evidence, like certain
Same.
statements. So,
Same.
okay,
uh Can spouses
humbling.
refuse to disclose confidential communication? Let's see. Da-da-da. Here, the communication was made while they were married and in reliance upon the intimacy of their marriage. The fact that Victor is now dead is irrelevant. Wife did, however, reveal part of the communication to her friend, indicating that Dan did not
Oh,
attack Victor, although she did not reveal the identity of the true attacker. Thus, while the court did not err in sustaining her claim of privilege with respect to identity of the true attacker, it may require that she testify as to the portion of the conversation indicating that Dan did not attack Victor. Interesting.
I think I had missed that fact that she had disclosed it to a friend.
Same.
Because I know that's the same thing. I think about it with like attorney-client privilege because that makes kind of more logical sense to me than spousal privilege in some ways. But it's the same thing. Like it's privileged, but if you start telling the secret to other people, like it's not a secret anymore, and that you can't exert privilege to avoid saying it in court. So
Yes.
that makes sense.
This next one, answer. The defense should now be given the opportunity to impeach the credibility of Victor by evidence of an inconsistent statement he may have made regarding the identity of his attacker. Okay, like using the wife as a witness to impeach the dead person. Interesting. So the court erred in sustaining the prosecutor's objection. Okay. Well, I have a lot more to learn.
You are not alone. Oh my God. Yeah, you're gonna do great.
Thanks. I was like, I'm not doing any more evidence today. Tonight, I'm going to be working on criminal law. So related, but a little bit different. That's why I was like, I don't have enough evidence after this. Yeah. This one is, what's your fit for the bar exam? I thought this was really cute and funny. Like people were going off about like what they wore to the bar exam. So this one said, this person was like, I was waiting 45 minutes for the exam to start. So I literally just started sitting there, like looking around, judging everyone's outfits. And it's a masterpiece. Bar exam novelty t-shirt. Your mom bought this. Tell her I love her. I'm like, that's so cute. Law firm swag. That's weird flex, but okay. A tie or a crisp button up. I admire the hustle to actively sabotage yourself. High heels. You scare me. Matching athleisure. I want to be you. And in the comments section, people are like going on about, someone pointed out that Virginia bar exam requires examinees to wear suits.
And I was going to ask, is that true?
Yeah. I have a friend who took the Virginia bar. Yeah.
Crazy.
It says requires them to wear suits, and women specifically have to wear baby.
No. That's
yikes.
Oh my God. That's like medieval. That's insane.
All Colorado, someone said it smelled like horse and Purina dog food the entire 2 days because of the factory nearby. And one person showed up in a shirt that said, I'm dead inside, paired with her husband's flannel. I love it.
That's amazing.
Okay, I promise. Last story. This is a positive one, not a funny story. This is like, I always like to find like people who failed and then passed. So this retaker, their first attempt was a 246. Their third attempt, they finally passed at a 293. So this is what the post said. This person withdrew from the bar multiple times between 2021 and 2026 due to illness and deaths in the family. The first attempt with doing Themis only at 246. They then found the supplemental goat bar prep mega thread and felt more confident the second time, but blanked on the trust essay and got a 254, only 6 points from passing. On the third attempt for February 2026, they combined the goat thread, Themis' outlines with their own notes, and the bar prep hero for MBEs. They woke up on a Monday and passed in every jurisdiction at a 293. The goat himself commented, "You absolutely crushed it, and you're a lawyer now." And people replied, or the person who wrote it replied, "Thank you so much, goat. You changed my life."
Thanks so much for listening. If you found this even remotely useful, please share with another fellow bar exam retaker, and don't forget to subscribe to get notified when new episodes drop. See you next week.